Okay, so, since it's clear that Cartoon Network gives no fucks about any show other than Teen Titans Go, they decided to release the latest episodes of Steven Universe on the Cartoon Network app, which I watched, and I was actually I was actually considering not doing this, but then again, I just kind of thought, well, fuck it, since Cartoon Network doesn't clearly seem to care, why should I, and wait until they actually get premiered, on some shit slot, no less, probably. So yeah, I'm just going to talk about the Steven Universe episodes. If you have not watched them yet, you can find them on Cartoon Network on the Cartoon Network app, or you can find them online somewhere, I'm pretty sure. Now, I'm just going to do a quick roundup on all the episodes together, the latest episodes together on a whole, because there's not much to say about certain episodes, and I will go into detail because the Real Manos and I do a Steven Universe podcast on his channel. Go subscribe to the Real Manos for that, and I'm pretty sure we're going to be doing that really soon. So I just figured, you know what? I'll just give you a abridged version of my thoughts, and I'll go deeper into them when we do when Manos and I get together and do the episodes. Anyway, so these past few episodes are pretty much dealing with the aftermath of what happened with Steven and Lars on the Gem Homeworld. And Steven comes back, and it's more or less damage control he has to go through. It's clearly damage control he has to put up with. Now, a lot of things change in here. Like, the effects of what Steven and Lars did on Homeworld is felt through here. But there's one thing that kind of bothered me. Like, and it was Steven himself, of how he acted around Connie. He's like, yeah, everything's fine, it's great to see you again. And Connie's clearly like, no, that's not okay. What you did was not cool. What the hell is wrong with you? And leaves with Lion. And Steven's still like, oh, thanks, Steven, it's great you're okay. And I'm like, I feel like Steven would be a lot more empathetic to what he did. I feel like that was just kind of weird for Steven, in that, it was just such a weird thing for Steven to be like, and I know he's like, oh, maybe he's hiding his feelings. No, I think Steven would be the first thing he would do, would apologize to Connie for pulling that stunt. It just felt really weird to me. It just felt really weird to me, on that. We also have to, Steven has to go talk to Sadie, even when he was talking to Sadie, Sadie and Lars's parents about what happened to their son, what happened to Lars, he's still kind of cool with it. It's really weird. Like, Steven would have, I feel like Steven, at this point of his life, if this was like season 1 or 2 Steven, I can understand that, but we're now 5 seasons in, I feel like Steven should be a little more considerate to people's feelings, So it just felt really weird. I mean, yeah, they cleared it up. That, yeah, this is Steven's coping mechanism for what happened on Homeworld, and he's more concerned about, Connie not talking to him. It's really strange about that. Then we have the stuff with Lapis and Peridot. Wow, Lapis. Just wow. You broke Perry's heart. You broke it, and you smashed it into tiny pieces, then threw those tiny little sharp edges of her heart into her eyes and ground them into it. You really hurt her. You hurt that this beautiful green cucumber of a gem. Not cool, Lapis, not cool. Now, there are 2 ways you could look at, what happened with Lapis, with what happened with Lapis and, talking about that. On one hand, I can understand that what Lapis is feeling, because obviously she's dealing with a lot of psychological trauma. She's dealing with a lot, and I mean a lot of psychological trauma, being fused with Jasper, the punishment she took all those thousands of years, and finding out, oh, you pissed off Blue and Yellow Diamond, and they know we're on Earth? We out! So, that's my thing, but on the other hand, Lapis at this point, I feel like Lapis, especially when Peridot tells her, look, there's still, Earth is worth fighting for. We built all of this ourselves. Shouldn't that mean anything to you? on one hand, I'm kind of glad that big speeches of hope and wonder, because this was actually something I was talking about with Red Leader Antilles and Joel Davis on Star Wars podcast we did, and Red was so pissed off about the whole thing with the latest episode of Rebels, where Hera made this big hope speech, and it worked. And he's so tired of that in Star Wars and in any genre. And it's nice, like, on the other hand, I'm kind of glad the whole speech of, like, oh, we can win if we have hope, because that's what Peridot, I'm paraphrasing, but that's pretty much what Peridot says. And it doesn't work. Like, that's kind of refreshing to see that kind of happen. It's pretty refreshing to see that kind of something like that happen. It was, I don't know, but on the other hand, like, Steve, like, yeah, Lapis, you built all of this, and you were getting over all this trauma, and now it's like, it's so weird with Lapis, because I like her, but every time we get character development with her, it's like one step forward, two steps back with Lapis. That's why I don't know, maybe it's just me, because I really love Lapis. I really do love that character. But I feel like every time we get character development with her, it's one step forward, two steps back. That's always what it feels like. But every time we have something, like a big character moment for her in her character and how she moves on, and then something happens and it's two steps back. It feels like they kind of retcon everything. And I understand. I do understand. On the other hand, and this is why it's so conflicting for me for this, is because there are points where I understand that some people who can't get over, there are some people who just can't get over trauma, and this is how they deal with it. They go back into themselves. So, on one hand, I'm kind of glad that the writers are acknowledging that Lapis is still not okay in the membrane. But yeah, it's, I feel like it's time for Lapis to kind of grow, to kind of grow more as a character, because I feel like every time we do try to get growth with her, they immediately go, oh, never mind. I don't know. I'll explain more. I'll go into more in depth with it when I do the podcast with Manos. And yeah, I do feel bad for Peridot. Because there was some moments where I was like, yeah, you guys were totally having sex in the barn. You two were totally a couple. We all know. You know it. I know it. Everyone knows that Lapidot was pretty much... The way they talk to each other, and the way that, certain things Lapis and Peridot said to one another, made me go, oh yeah, you two are clearly a thing. You two are clearly a thing, and we are all at peace with that. But once again, and the way Peridot took Lapis's leaving, leaving with the barn, in fact, and all she has left is Pumpkin. It was really heartbreaking because, yeah, Peridot built all of this, with Lapis, and she built this life for her, and now she's left with square one because the person she trusted most just kind of up and ditched her. So I can understand that. Yeah, there's a moment where Peridot has this Season 1 moment where she almost goes Season 1 Peridot on Steven and Amethyst. And I was kind of afraid, oh god, are they going to make Peridot a villain again? Please don't do that. Please don't do that. Thankfully they didn't. And it was pretty refreshing. It was a nice little bookend. The stuff at Kevin's party was fine. It was nice to see that Steven finally owns up and goes, I fucked up. And I was like, yeah, because you can't... I don't know what happened to your character there for a second. You should have just been, hey, I'm sorry, Connie, from the get-go. What the fuck's wrong with you? But, whatever. Where was I going with this? All in all, it's... Oh yeah, the Sadie stuff. The Sadie stuff was pretty fun. It's a nice little slice of life. It's a nice little slice of life stuff. It was nice to see that there's some character development, and this is, Sadie doing these songs is how she is coping with Lars not being in her life anymore. It's really cool, and it's also, maybe it's just me, but the song sounded like something like a horror band, and I know that's what they were going for, like something out of like Ice Nine Kills, or, actually I got a very big Emily Autumn vibe from what she would, the lyrics that Sadie was singing. So I was like, did you guys take some inspiration from Emily Autumn? Yeah, I don't know, like, that's just what it reminded me of. Maybe that's just me again. Yeah. So all in all, like I said, these episodes were pretty much aftermath of of all the stuff from the Gem homeworld. And yeah, I'm pretty pissed off that we didn't know Pearl's big secret because Steven interrupted. But hang on, but and I'm not going to speculate because there was just too little there. But I feel like that's going to be coming up very soon, very, very soon. So yeah, all in all, pretty good episodes. I just wish Cartoon Network would actually give a fuck about Steven Universe. We're sick of Go. I think your ratings are pretty clear of that. And, you know, OKKO's pretty good, but you can't really, but you're depending still on Go, and I'm going to get into a rant, and I'm going to back out now before it's too late. So you guys tell me in the comments below, what did you guys think of these new episodes of Steven Universe? Did you guys like them? Did you guys hate them? What do you think is next for Steven and the rest of the team? Just comment below, let me know, and once again, hope you all enjoyed this, and I will see you guys later.